Let's go ahead and get into Sammy Ain't Seen Shit.
I ain't seen shit.
You ain't seen shit. But we are changing that. You were watching one piece of shit at a time.
I see two shit so far.
Yes,
Purple Rain and now Pulp Fiction.
And now Pulp Fiction. People, believe it or not, there are some people out there who have not seen Pulp Fiction. Kevin King did that picture me right there.
Nasty.
Man, I think it's kind of hot myself.
Gross.
Kevin King took the poster of Pulp Fiction where they have Uma Thurman on there with the bed and everything and the gun. He put my face on her. And I think, man, put a little lipstick on me and some long hair. I like it, man.
You got a 5 o'clock shadow.
It's only like 7 a.m.
Pulp Fiction. But, I didn't even see the double toasted up there.
Oh,
that's all right. You know what? I'm going to catch your ass one night. I'm going to get you nice and drunk and come to you in drag and see what happens.
I'll punch you in the mouth. Man, get the fuck away from me.
He'll think you're Danielle.
We'll see that. We'll see about that. You know I've already come in and call you in my room and I'm lying in bed waiting on you.
Oh,
Yeah, he did. That
It's
was
a slippery
really
slope, Sam. It's a slippery slope.
Yes, as I said, I thought if there's one movie out there in the world that everybody has seen, you would think it would be the 1994 Quentin Tarantino ultimate classic, Pulp Fiction.
Come on, let's get in character. You see, this is a moral test of oneself.
I do believe Marcellus, my husband, your boss, told you to take me out and do whatever I wanted.
This launched the careers of a few people, actually, namely Samuel Jackson relaunched the career of John Travolta, and this won the ultimate prize, the Palme d'Or, at Cannes. Cannes, I can't even remember which one.
Cannes.
Okay, we'll go with that, Cannes. And this, a lot of people say, changed the landscape of filmmaking, inspired a whole generation of young filmmakers to pretty much not do anything fucking original, just copy Pulp Fiction. But if you don't know the story, and you should, it's a bunch of crime vignettes joined together at some point within the film, centering on different characters, told out of sequence and out of time. That's why I love people see this as groundbreaking, even though some of this stuff had been done before, maybe in foreign films, or maybe in other films that weren't as popular. Quentin Tarantino was the one to take it and kind of breathe life into this several styles of filmmaking that a lot of people weren't experienced with, and make it something that is all his own. Now, like I said, it's been about 10 years since I've seen this movie. I didn't think there could be any difference in it for me because I saw this movie when it came out. It was one of those movies where it blew my fucking mind, man.
Really?
Really, yeah. Now, see, now how old are you?
29.
29. So when this came out in 1994, how old were you when this came out?
I was 7.
7, okay. It's a whole different experience for you. You know, at the time, I was a film student. You know, I was in critical studies. I wanted to write about film, and this is something that everybody, when they saw it, blew their mind because it really wasn't anything like we'd seen before. And I saw this 4 times in the theater. I took maybe 5. I remember I took my mother, I took my sister. I was taking people from where I was like a drug dealer with this shit, man.
He's a troubled child. Don't worry, he'll get it right later.
I didn't care. You know, he talking about eating pussy in the movie and everything. I'm sitting next to my mama. Yeah, that's funny. And my mom even laughed. She's like, "Wow, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but this is amazing."
Yeah.
First things first. You always talk about how your excuse is, you know, I don't really need to see these movies. I hear all the pop culture references. Pulp Fiction is the ultimate pop culture referenced movie.
Right.
Well, it's probably more, you know, The Godfather and all that, but right here,
yeah, this
is one of the high ones right there. And how does it feel to be a person who claims like all these pop culture references was going to make this movie dull? How does it feel to watch it now, the whole thing?
So watching the whole thing, there was a lot more to it than just those references. There's a lot of buildup to get in between all of them. But it did, some of the times it did spoil in the middle of, oh, I know this is coming up. But one of the things that was touted that about Quentin Tarantino films was that the dialogue is amazing. And the fact that I actually got to listen to it and follow along with the story, even out of order, that was fantastic. I was blown away by just how casual it was. Some of them went on a little too long, but I'm like, wait, is it going to build up to something? And it always paid off.
One of the things that's refreshing to see now with Pulp Fiction is that with so many films under Tarantino's belt, you begin to see how he creates these worlds.
Yeah.
This is a whole different universe right here.
You get to see the inside of his mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This shit, you just, and almost the things I nitpicked about, you actually have to, you just kind of have to take it. You just kind of have to take it like this is his world. And and this is a world that's full of it's a violent world. It's full of psychopaths, sociopaths. Almost everyone's a killer, and everyone can die at the drop of a hat.
Right.
And that was the thing about the movie that I nitpicked about it the first time. I said, man, you know something? One of the things that really got to me, they do so much violence in this movie, and there are no cops anywhere.
Right. A couple gunshots go off and nobody bothers to even look.
They in an apartment,
Right.
And at 10 in the morning.
Yeah, no, and they do it twice, but not this scene, but another one where the gun goes off and there's people walking around outside like they never heard anything.
Like they never heard anything. The first time I saw it, I was amazed that at 10 in the morning, where bullets are going through other people's apartments.
Yeah.
No cops came in. At the time that we were watching it, I realized now we were distracted because there was so many good things distracting us at that moment.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Loud ass guns.
I'm about to
too.
say that to just hearing Samuel L. Jackson scream.
Right.
Yeah. My name is the Lord.
Fuck you!
It's like a project, like the project building, and the walls are paper thin, so I mean, and you can hear them like four fucking places down,
Oh,
But-
yeah, and that's the thing about it. But I didn't notice because first of all, Samuel Jackson was selling those lines, and he was so mesmerizing. I even loved the end of that shot where there were times when Quentin Tarantino would just leave it on Samuel
Just
Jackson.
linger, yeah.
Just linger, because Samuel Jackson was really mad. Like he just made himself mad.
And a lot of the little things that also I noticed, not to do with the dialogue, but the visual effects, like the flashing, that red flash that you get when the guy's
Oh.
dying. I love that. And he throws in a lot of little kind of special effects, quote unquote, that just kind of enhance the experience.
Well, see, that's the cool thing about it is that Quentin Tarantino did a lot of things with creating not only a universe, because first of all, there were a lot of things that he did to make sure that this was his world. I mean, he put in there his own fake brands of stuff. The Red Apple cigarettes and the Big Kahuna,
restaurant,
restaurant, the Big Kahuna burger. At the beginning of the movie, they go to Jack Rabbit Slims. And speaking of which, I love the outside part because that part where they did the flash.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino did so much with the filmmaking back then that a lot of people weren't playing with. A lot of people back then just told their story straightforward.
Right.
He took things that you would see like maybe in cartoons and put them in a very violent rated R movie, like that part with that Jack Rabbit Slims and Uma Thurman's like, "Hey, Daddy-O, don't be a square."
Oh,
Man, let's go get a steak.
You can get a steak here, Daddy-O. Don't be a...
I thought,
Oh, after you, kitty cat.
just a little touch like that. A lot of people were like, God. Damn,
Yeah, that did
this
my
is-
first time I saw it. I was like, wow, they could do that in this.
Yeah, I mean, there were other things that he played with. He brought in like old filmmaking because him being a film geek, he loves old films,
Yeah.
new films, and he took some stuff from like old movies, like when you see in old movies where they're in a car and they have the background.
Yeah.
It's so old that the background is black and white.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't even really notice that until I saw that again.
Yeah, and that was stuff I noticed, like having gone to film school and just seeing those old effects. It was kind of neat.
Like
Because
that's a real projection screen right there.
Yeah.
And it's not even in color.
Yeah, so the world that he's creating includes this, and it doesn't jar you for any reason. Like, if you were to see that in any other movie, if you were doing like the Avengers and they pulled some shit like that, it would throw you out of the movie. But the world he's creating here, that's normal. Luckily, actually, that wasn't really too jarring though. None of the clothing, they're all wearing suits and just kind of standard wear, so nothing seemed too dated in terms of clothing or even just the environment itself. They had cell phones that were big and clunky, but that was probably the only thing.
Yeah, man. It still holds up, except for like some small things. You're talking about some scenes that went on too long.
Mm-hmm. Can I get one that'll probably get people mad at me?
Man, go ahead.
The twist. I didn't like that scene that much.
The twist.
When they
they're
do the twist
dancing.
contest.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, so everyone knows that that's like a big famous scene. I know every girl that dresses up like her does the dance, like for Halloween and stuff. But I was watching. I go, is this going to go anywhere? No, he's just holding on it. All right, I
but
guess.
it's a classic scene, man. At the time, see, that's one of the things that I think that shows how you are right now and people back then, because you see things that are so retro now,
Right.
And you see all these hipsters out there that are so retro. Like before, we had real strong hipsters. We had this shit right here.
Yeah.
Uma Thurman and John Travolta doing the twist. I mean, this was referenced and made fun of and everything, like The Simpsons and a whole lot of stuff. He was doing the Batman dance, be like, "Oh shit, I remember that from the Batman show." I think that's one of the things that shows the age between somebody like me that saw it at the time and you, because you're so used to kitsch and retro now.
Yeah, it's things like that are almost commonplace. Like I think of like just every little short indie film that has put something quirky or weird into it, it just seemed like one of those to me. But go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to ask you, like, do you think because you've seen like these things already interpreted, like, or reenacted in other media, do you think it diluted it from your first experience in here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Just having seen it, I mean, they were probably taken from this, and me not having seen this, I don't appreciate it as the original purveyor of that type of
Yeah. And you said that some scenes went long to you that you just it was just a generational thing.
Yeah.
But for me, there were some scenes that I didn't like at the time, and I saw it again, and I thought it went on a little long, but I found new meaning in it. And in the subtext of it, I thought, okay, that's really cool that he's not laying out there. If a guy does dialogue, he doesn't lay everything out there. And you can watch the movie again and get things out of it. The scene with Butch, played by Bruce Willis, goes back to his girl.
Right.
Yeah.
In the hotel?
At the hotel. And she's talking about a pot belly. At first I thought, all right, this is going on way too long. And now all the times I saw Pulp Fiction, I never really liked that scene.
I was looking at myself in the mirror. I wish I had a pot.
You were looking at yourself in the mirror and you wish you had some pot?
A pot. A pot belly. Pot bellies are sexy.
Well, you should be happy. Because you have one.
I have pot, so I don't have a pot.
It's a sweet scene, and I thought, okay, it sets up the sensitive side of a brutal character, but one of the things that I thought that I never thought before is like, is that girl pregnant?
Right.
And she's just not telling him? Because there's a part in the movie, and y'all have seen it. If you haven't, look, statute of limitations gone on spoilers.
I'm saying, God, that movie's over 20 years old.
Everybody was telling me for not seeing it, so now I've seen it. Spoilers around the table.
Everybody's seen it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a part where she goes in to wake up Butch, and she's like, Butch, and he's she's like, oh, never mind. I always thought like she didn't want to tell him about the watch that makes him angry later on. But I thought maybe she wanted to tell him that she was pregnant, but didn't want to like piss him off at that point and make him worry about more than he already has to worry about running from gangsters.
Yeah.
There was some intricate subtext in there.
Yeah, it really was. And I actually watched that today, and I thought, man, this movie's kind of new to me because I really read something in that I didn't, when I was young and stupid, didn't see.
Well, like when I watch it now, like I usually skip over because I probably watch it at least once or twice a year, and I usually skip over Butch's parts because those are usually the least interesting to me. Because like going with Jules and Travolta and Uma Thurman's character, it's just like balls to the wall. All right, let's go. We got things that we got a body to hide. We got this, we got that. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And Butch just slows down.
And since he admitted it, I enjoyed it for a filmmaker standpoint, how creative it was, how the action was shot, how it was all kind of dealt with. Other than the part where I really disliked was the cab drive with the crazy Latina driver. That part was just weird. But yeah, Butch's whole that whole sequence in the middle, it was just kind of like, all right, I'm not interested in this character.
You're
I don't
right.
really care.
That cab driver scene with the Latina girl, and besides it just looking kind of cool, that shit went on way too long.
Killed a man. Do you know how it feels?
The movie disturbed me in some parts, man.
I know. The Gimp.
Man, yeah. How'd you guys feel about that? Now, here's the thing. This movie was made in 94, 22 years ago. And rape for men and women means entirely something different today.
Yeah.
And at one time, it's a very popular scene with Butch going into the pawn shop. They pull out the Gimp. Marcellus Wallace gets raped by two hillbillies. Man, it's a really fucked up scene in so many different areas. One, we laughed at it at the time because it spawned one of the most iconic pieces of dialogue from that film.
I ain't through with you by damn sight. I'ma get medieval on your ass.
And we all laughed at that. Today people still say, I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
So that's where it's from.
That's where it's from.
So I wonder if the scene is what originated it, because I've heard that my entire life.
Being like, yeah, motherfucker, that's where it's from. You didn't know?
So shit like that where I was just completely ignorant to, that stuff like that is what watching it has done for me. So.
But man, when they the Gimp is funny and everything, but when I actually see the act of rape, when Ving Rhames is getting raped, these two hillbillies, and they're playing that music and they're playing up a laugh, and that dude right there, the one hillbilly that's like getting off on it, for some reason when I saw it now, that just bothered the shit out of me.
Well, so that was the thing. So they had the Gimp, they had them tied up with the ball gags and everything, and I go, well, we're the only people that kill people in our store, so I thought they were gonna take them out back and just kill them and just like fuck with them, torture them. But then I was like, wait, he's going on too long. They're cheering. He's grabbing all the weapons and the chainsaw and the katana. And I go, oh no, they're raping him. They're not going to show it, and they straight up show
And
it.
they show
They
it.
show butt cheeks and everything. I was like, oh no!
And even this whole thing with the katana
That was
and,
stupid, though.
and killing people. But you know what? It just showed me how much I was laughing at this world where everybody is a psychopath or a sociopath, and for some reason I was laughing so hard back in the day, but now I'm just like, I feel kind of uneasy about this, man.
Yeah.
Oh, how do you feel about this now?
When I first saw, I was kind of prepared for it because I used to watch a lot of VH1, and they had those shows like I Love the '90s, and that Pulp Fiction thing was one of this, and like they brought up that scene specifically. I was like, oh Jesus, well I know when I watch this I'll be prepared for it. Yeah. But like even seeing it then, like. When they brought the GIMP out, I was so confused as to what was happening because I was like, a Madonna video has started or what's going on?
Yeah. One of the things that really got to me about this, and I know a lot of people they're kind of tired of hearing it. Mm-hmm. Let's just put it out there, the N-word. Over. That scene bothered me just because it seemed like this is L.A. This guy goes into a pawn shop run by the only two rednecks. I mean, straight up hillbilly ass rednecks in L.A. Now, you can say L.A. is a big place. These guys could have been from anywhere. There's all kind of ways to explain it. But to me, the movie's littered with the N-word. Everywhere. Sometimes it seems like it's cool, and the coolest times that it seems like it's there is when Samuel Jackson is doing it. Samuel Jackson, nigga just rolls off his tongue naturally. It's beauty.
Yeah, there's no effect to it. It's just natural. It's part of his dialogue, it's part of his character.
Yeah.
Then what did Marcellus do?
Sent a couple of cats over to his place. They took him out on his patio, threw his ass over the balcony. Nigga fell 4 stories. Had a little garden down at the bottom, closed in glass like a greenhouse. Nigga fell through that.
Just poetic, man.
No, it's a part of how he talks.
Yeah.
And it's so natural you don't even notice.
Nigga is poetry with Samuel Jackson.
It's like velvet.
Velvet. Velvet niggas rolling off his tongue, man.
Yeah, but then if you're going to the other scene where the other guy uses it.
But that's QT. Okay, let's just go there. Mainly Quentin Tarantino. That's the most probably famous part because Quentin Tarantino, he couldn't sell it. Just because he couldn't act.
You
can't act. You just seem like you just wanted to say the word no matter what.
Yeah.
Like you cast yourself in that role just to say it.
It was almost unfair going against those two actors, in their prime, Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta. It's not fair for him to be trying to sell that line.
I was in a theater with him.
Oh.
And because he was sitting, I didn't meet him, so I ain't name dropping anything, but I did go to a screening. Very proud to actually have been to a screening where it was like the second time Quentin Tarantino showed that to people. Mm-hmm. And he was in the back, and people loving the movie. He like Quentin Tarantino, who's giddy and shit.
When the troll mode.
Yeah, you can even hear him behind you.
He's Quagmire all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's Quagmire.
A foot comes out of nowhere. What's happening?
But when people saw him acting in the movie, you could hear that forced laughter. Like, he's still behind us right there.
He killing it.
Said the word.
But you know what's on my mind right now? It ain't the coffee in my kitchen. It's the dead nigger in my garage.
Oh, Jimmy, don't even worry about it.
No, listen to me. Don't think about anything. I want to ask you a question. When you came pulling in here, did you notice a sign out in the front of my house that said dead nigger storage?
Jimmy, you know I ain't seen no shit.
Did you notice a sign in the front of my house that said dead nigger storage?
I will beat the fuck out of him if I ever hear. I don't care if he's just reciting lines.
You know what? And there's two things I want to say about this. One, I think it's funny that he can't even act his own lines. I think that's hilarious. Like you wrote these words.
You know how they're supposed to sound.
Yeah. And the second was the second thing is when I first saw this, it didn't bother me to the point where he couldn't act. I thought he just did it because it was intentionally a scene to make you feel uncomfortable and uneasy because like he said, my wife's coming home, this is happening, this is a dire situation, and like him saying that, obviously it makes you tense for another reason, but it also compounds to, we got a body in the garage, we got to get this shit out of here.
And that's one thing in the movie when I first saw it, I was like, oh, he's edgy. Now I see today and I'm just like, dude, I really don't like that.
And see, I kind of saw it as, okay, they had a past with him. Maybe he was a criminal. Maybe he has some, like, he's supposed to be some sort of secret badass, right? Who settled down, got a family. But as the character went on, as he started saying more and more lines, he was just a schmuck who just said it to say it.
Right.
He don't do shit, and he's in that fucking robe, and I'm just like, get the fuck out of here.
You know what? I have to say, like, minus the word in his acting, his acting got a little bit better as the scenes went along. There's one scene in there where, and I think it's because he's against such a great actor that's probably pulling it out of him.
With Keitel?
Harvey Keitel as a wolf.
Yeah, Mr. Wolf.
Mr. Wolf.
That part was my favorite part of the movie. He was my favorite character One of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like a superhero.
Yeah, he was so badass. He reminded me of Mike from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like that same kind of cool, calculated guy who's been around the block, guy who knows how to take care of business and knows that you need to shut the fuck up and listen to him.
Exactly.
Listen to him because he knows what the fuck he's doing. I love that character.
Silent.
Here you go, Mr. Rope. Thank you, Jimmy.
Step out of his own shot.
That chin is right in that shot right there.
Like, was it on Pee Wee Herman? Paging Mr. Herman.
That look like the moon is rising, like a crescent moon on the
moon pie man.
But while we're here, the little subtle things about like the coffee, they had a whole 3-minute conversation about the coffee, 4-minute. Where's this going? That little nod that he does, shit like that, those little payoffs.
Oh yeah,
they're littered in these movies, and I fucking love those, man.
We need to camouflage the interior of the car. We're going to line the front seat and the back seat and the floorboards.
Look at you, man. Look at that. Keep talking, you white motherfucker.
With quilts and blankets. So if a cop stops us and starts sticking his big snout in the car, the subterfuge won't last. But at a glance, the car will appear to be normal. Jimmy, lead the way. Boys, get to work.
Please would be nice.
I was like him. I was like, what?
I saw someone's gonna die.
Shut up! I love that spin, right? Like, with no words, you're like, what the fuck did you just say? Now, you've seen it for the first time. Was there any character that didn't hold up completely in the movie?
Bruce Willis' girlfriend was a little corny, a little tacky.
Yeah.
That's
What
all
about
I
the
really
main characters who had the most screen time?
All of them held up pretty well, to be honest. I mean, Jules, Vincent. Who else are you thinking? Who else are you thinking, like, in terms of like,
Uma Thurman?
Uma Thurman, yeah.
So Uma Thurman in this?
So
I don't like her in anything.
So
I won't even
Mia,
Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah, so Marcellus Wallace was fine. Mia, it was funny because I had an ex-girlfriend that loved this movie. I never saw the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
I understand her so much more now, having seen Mia and her character.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of girls that are my age that have seen the movie and are kind of like into that type of, indie type of, I'm an independent, do drugs, do all that kind of
and there's Mia right there.
Would you fuck me?
Sex, drugs, rock and roll type of thing. Like, they take that image from her. I go, oh, I get it now. So having seen that.
Really? You see that today, that girls still take that from her?
Oh, very much. Yeah. So like it came out in 94. I was 4 years old. So people who have been growing up since about that age and stuff like that, who have seen that movie, probably weren't allowed, weren't supposed to be seeing it at a young age, probably picked up a lot from that character.
I would have never thought that character still had that much influence.
Especially in LA.
Yeah.
Especially because the girl I dated was from LA, downtown LA. She was living that life, and kind of the stuff that she did reminded me almost like by the book about what she did. And so her liking the movie was like, oh, the drug sequences, the kind of vignettes making them look all fancy and nice and clean and stuff. I could see how that influenced a generation of girls, at least in that area. From what I've experienced.
Interesting. I never would have thought that. I never would have thought that this movie still had that kind of influence.
My bad. What did you think about the Christopher Walken scene? Because that's one of like the biggest scenes that gets quoted a lot.
So I was like, man, this is kind of awesome. This is kind of neat. Where is this going? Because I didn't know yet, right? It wasn't established for Bruce Willis. But then he was talking about the watch, and then it got to the point where he was talking about the watch up his ass.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you have to do it? Did you have to go there? Because I would have laughed had it not been such a well-acted, such a deep scene.
Oh, yeah.
It was very heartwarming. And then he said that, and I was like, well, that's hilarious, but I'm out of it now.
The way your dad looked at it, this watch was your birthright. You'd be damned if any slopes.
Damn.
Like he just farted there or something. He'd be damned.
Yeah, and there's also, like, just while he's doing it, a lot of ethnic slurs other than the N-word thrown around, too. So.
His boy's birthright, so he hit it. In one place he knew he could hide something, his ass.
His ass.
He's just so matter of fact with that, man. Thought the little kid.
The scene was not ruined by the fact about when he freaked out that she didn't bring it in the hotel room. When he had to go back for his watch.
Yeah.
That scene made so much more sense, and it was like, oh, that's very real because of the story he told. So everything served a purpose, even if it was ridiculous, even if it was silly, even if it was dumb, it all served a purpose, and I couldn't knock it for that.
I noticed like some people weren't as good as others, and they did well in the movie, but there were some people who were just actors doing a decent job as opposed to doing like other times doing great jobs. One of those people that I'm talking about is John Travolta.
I was about to say that, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just seems like he's just kind of reading his lines as opposed to like Samuel L. Jackson made me think Jules was a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up because I just took John Travolta as just being a really goofy guy.
What's the point of the character, though?
Well, you know what? You're right, because he's high a lot of the time.
Right.
He's kind of a doofus.
He's not meant to be real sharp.
No, he's not. And he even has that dumb look on his face half the time.
But to be a contract killer, you should have some kind of intelligence.
Yeah. And when you see these two guys in the same scene, how they argue and how they lead up to certain bits of dialogue, John Travolta sounds like he's acting, where Samuel Jackson, he sounds like he's really pissed and in a real argument with you.
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped? What's happening? Oh, man.
I'm like, whoa!
Shit, caught me so on guard the first time I was like, oh!
Yeah. I don't even think Samuel Jackson saw that coming. I don't think they told him that would happen.
They really killed Phil Lamar.
I shot Marvin in the face.
Why the fuck you do that?
I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
Oh, man, I've seen some crazy-ass shit in my time, but this...
Chill out, man. I told you it was an accident. You went over a bump or
Hey,
something.
the car ain't hit no motherfucking bump.
Hey, look, man, I didn't mean to shoot the son of a bitch. The gun went off. I don't know why.
Well, look at this fucking mess, man. We're on a city street in broad daylight here.
Believe it, man.
Well, believe it now, motherfucker. We gotta get this car off the road.
I believe, like, every time Samuel Jackson was talking that movie, I believe he really was mad.
The one that my favorite scene in this movie is, and this is the one that made me was like Samuel Jackson, one of the best actors ever. It was when they're cleaning up the back of the car.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "This is some repugnant ass shit. You should be the back motherfucker on brain detail." I was like, "Yes."
Oh, I love that too, man. I love that too. But I think one of the main reasons why I really love Samuel Jackson in this is because he's the heart and soul of the film, man. And that's the thing about when I see him and John Travolta, and why I thought he deserved to be Best Actor, or at least be nominated. Yeah. Man, I would have preferred him to win, because when you watch the movie, all these characters are so exaggerated, and there are these quiet moments with Bruce Willis in some parts, but mainly Samuel Jackson, where it seems like, all right, this is a great film. All these characters are, let's say they're great, but they're cartoonish in a way.
Yeah.
But Samuel Jackson, at one point where he has this turn, like he says, a moment of clarity, it seems like he was a real human being.
Basically, I'm just gonna walk the earth.
What you mean, walk the earth?
You know, like Kane in Kung Fu. Walk from place to place, meet people, get in adventures.
And how long do you intend to walk the earth?
Till God puts me where he wants me to be.
And what if you don't do that?
If it takes forever, then I'll walk forever.
I think that's the only time I've ever heard Samuel Jackson whisper. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard him talk that quietly, ever.
Right.
There's a lot we can go on here. I mean, Samuel Jackson, I love the line. It still scares me when he says that, because we laugh about it all the time. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
No, actually, the one that caught me off guard, like I said, I saw the guy get shot in the back of the car. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
But when he goes, talking to the guy interrogating him, shoots his friend on the couch. Oh, I'm sorry, did I break your concentration?
Oh yeah.
You, flock of seagulls. You know why?
Flock of seagulls, yeah.
Why don't you tell my man Vince here where you got the shit here at?
It's over there. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
I still jump when I see this. I love the way they put it back on him. Like he just lingers on that guy, man. Like, say another fucking thing. I dare you. I realize it's not as strong as I remember, but overall, man, this movie held up for me. But for you, somebody who this is your first time, man, does it hold up for the hype that people have built around it?
The hype was very high. A lot of people were on Facebook yelling at me, "You haven't seen this? I can't wait for you to see this." Everybody was like that. And surprisingly, it did. It held up to the hype. But it was those opening scenes with Jules and Vincent that just won me over right away. The conversations they were having were very real. These seemed like likable characters. We got to know them. And I very much enjoyed it.
I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Probably my top 5. It's, like you said, it's well shot. It's well acted. Jules is probably one of the greatest characters in cinematic history, hands down. And yeah, man, it's one of the greatest movies, I think, in American history.
I've seen it a million times. Obviously it's a classic. I love the angles with the camera and how he does the perception with that. I think it's very powerful and interesting. I don't love the storyline. I mean, it's kind of brutal. I'm not really into the whole violent scenes, but I understand why it's so relevant and why it's so great.
For someone who's into just straightforward narrative storytelling, how does it feel for you to watch this and see it out of order? You probably don't like artistic stuff like that.
No, I do. I do like it. It's hard to follow. I mean, you have to. It's one of those movies where you have to watch maybe like 2 or 3 times, I think, to really understand it. But
I didn't even know it was out of order. until they went to the first vignette. That completely went. No one told me that part.
Confused the shit out of you, man.
Yeah, nobody told me that part where it's like, oh, it's going to be out of order, or there's going to be different vignettes at different parts. So I've studied, film that have been out of order. So I was like, okay, this is where we're going with it.
Nice.
So I was able to follow it pretty well. The music. Oh my God, I forgot about the music and the soundtrack on it. There's no score for it, but it's all soundtrack music. I need to get the soundtrack.
Anyway, well, it's good to hear that this movie still holds up with you kids today.
Yeah, I give it a full price, a high full price.
Not even better than Sex.
I'm about to say, what?
Not better than Sex. because of the middle part just didn't interest me, but it is a full price, high full price.
Okay, because back in the day, I guarantee you would have been like better than Sex, man.
Right. Yeah, this is still better than Sex to me, man. This is Library of Congress film, dude.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction, everybody.
There it is.
22 years later, as I say, the kids is still resonating with the children.